Hello, everybody, and welcome. Welcome to our Welcome to We Action Steps show. This is an incredible time for us to actually step into the action of how can we answer this question. Every time that we come together, we ask this question: how can we do together what we cannot do alone? And I want to share with you, I'm Karen Palmer. I'm going to be one of your hosts here. And my fellow host who is here is Rick Ulfik, and he is the founder of We the World and the We campaign at we.net, a global platform to unite and amplify the efforts of people, organizations, and movements working for the common good. Rick is the co-creator of the 11 Days of Global Unity, 11 Ways to Change the World, linking local awareness and action campaigns into an inspiring international movement, with participants including Desmond Tutu, Jane Goodall, Deepak Chopra, Eve Ensler, Daniel Ellsberg, Amy Goodman, Bill McKibben, and many more. Welcome, Rick.
Unmute myself, sorry. Hi, Karen. It's great to be on the show with you again. And we have a great show today, a kind of a special edition of the Welcome to We show, where we're talking about action steps following up our Earth Month and Interdependence shows that we had over the last month or so. So thank you, Karen. And let me tell everyone a bit about Karen. Karen Palmer is a live stream and social media strategist for We the World and other groups creating a culture of peace and a sustainable future. She is a best-selling author and popular online talk show host who helps change agents and peacemakers find their voice and share their message and gifts globally. She is also a singer and songwriter, and you can connect with her by going to globalkindnesstv.org. So welcome to the Welcome to We show. And I guess I'll tell you a bit about We the World, and we can jump in with everything that's happening today.
And while you're coming in, everybody, just make sure you type in where you're watching from. If you could share this out and let people know that we're live, if you could share this on your timeline and share it to your groups that you might be a member of, or any of the pages that you manage. And would also like to invite you to like the We campaign page on Facebook, because when you like that page, you're going to get notifications whenever we're live. And we have some wonderful things planned for you. So please like our page.
That's right. Thank you, Karen. And today, since we're talking about action steps, we're actually going to have a shorter show than usual. Usually the show is about an hour, or sometimes it goes a bit over. And this time it'll be about a half hour, and we may go a little over, but we're going to talk about all different ways that we can take action, and the people who are the guests are really wonderful models of how we can take action individually and collectively. So first, a little bit about We the World. The mission of We the World is actually especially relevant for today's show. Our mission is to maximize social change globally until we have a world that works for all. So we're excited about all our guests who are helping We the World to fulfill this mission. And there are many ways that you can plug in and be part of the action working with We the World. We have 11 global unity campaigns for change that include things like unity, environment, health, children and youth, women, human rights, and peace. And we have a free public international calendar that is shared with many other organizations like the compassion games that John Raymer will be talking about on the show today. And at this calendar, you can post events and announcements that you want to promote. So we invite you all to join our We team. And to do that, just go to we.net and you can sign up your organization or sign up as an individual. And I have a few announcements before we get started with our guests. The next Welcome to We show will be May 21st. May 21st, working, and the focus will be elders working with youth. And that's going to be a very exciting show. I think we're going to have a 12-year-old activist who's really amazing, along with some elders on that show. So that's very exciting. A campaign that launched on Earth Day is Earthman Lanny Smith's campaign called Come In Planet Earth, Are You Listening? And for more information about that, you can go to we.net/ComeInPlanetEarth. And in general, for just about everything we're talking about today, you can connect with people and find out more by going to we.net. Coming soon, there are several campaigns that I'd like to mention. We'll probably talk more about them later. One is called the Campaign, the Campaign of Campaigns, which is really a collective effort that we'll talk about later. There's a campaign called the Stand With Us campaign of Unity Earth. That's a way of paving the road to 2020 that we will be talking about. There's a campaign that's going to be launched in the next few days called the Mobilized News campaign. It's like a new news portal that We the World is partnering with. And there are others that we'll be talking about. So to jump right in, I'd like to welcome our first guest, who is actually one of my favorite people who's on the We team and in general. Her name is ShaRon Ria. And ShaRon Ria is a passionate woman on a serious mission to make the world a better place. She is founder of the global movement called No Judgment, Just Love, whose mission is to inspire us all to live together with unconditional allowance, one courageous action at a time. ShaRon is a dynamic facilitator as well as a compassionate life and family coach. The Whole Family Coaching can be found at thewholefamilycoaching.com. And No Judgment, Just Love can be found at nojudgmentjustlove.com. So welcome to the Welcome to We show, ShaRon Ria.
Thank you so much, Rick. My friends, right back at you. And Karen and Sue and John, I'm going to get to know you more tonight. We haven't had a chance to really hear each other. So thank you for this opportunity to be involved in this conversation about what can we do together to support the oneness of us all. And my message of no judgment, just love really is the foundation for how I've become willing to learn how to live. It is a choice, and it's personal, and it's a practice. But I think Rick and Karen and Sue and John, it really does support this one person individually dispelling the myth that you can't do anything alone to influence the whole, and you really can. And I keep clicking on my phone because I want to read quickly Dr. David Hawkins. I understand from the way I live, I've lived in New York, I'm here in Arizona, that there are people who are so fearful, they're anxious. We have a lot of stress in our world. And I think with one person aligning with Dr. Hawkins' message, which is living in the energy of peace and pure love, with peace in their heart and care and kindness in their actions, they will counterbalance 750,000 other souls that are living in the lower energies. And so just knowing that as a foundation, hopefully will give people motivation to say, ooh, I can just work on myself. I don't have to worry about anyone else. And that's where no judgment, just love comes in. Like I said, it is a choice. It's a way to live. And of course, we judge all the time, right? Judgment is not the problem. What happens that keeps us disconnected and not in oneness is that our words, our actions, the things that we do after we make a judgment, and especially the thoughts we have about ourselves. So I had the awesome privilege yesterday to go to a elementary school, kindergarten through 5th grade, and talk with them about this message. And the little ones, the littlest little ones, embraced it very quickly and easily. And this is what I shared with them: 3 steps. Well, obviously the first one is be willing. The first step is when you make a judgment, which is natural, don't judge yourself for judging because that's going to happen. But when you do, take a pause and a breath and use your, what I call your GPS, which is your greatest personal shift to your higher self, because that's the place where you know better. That's the place where you have the peace to do something different. And then the question you want to ask is what I'm getting ready to say, or how I'm going to treat this person, or what kind of conversation I'm going to have in my head. Is it helpful or harmful? Is it helpful, what I'm going to say, or is it harmful? And these young people embrace that so quickly. And I'm hoping that's simple enough for all of us as adults to be able to say, you know, I just need to pause. And then there are 3 quotes that I have from No Judgment, Just Love that I'll leave with you. The first one is, if you can embrace the oneness of us all, then it is very easy to understand that we all, each one of us, is worthy of love. And the second thing is, every one of us is doing the best we can, even if it doesn't look like it to you. And the third thing is, we always don't have to engage with things that cause conflict. We can just allow everyone to be and move away, don't engage, or just send loving energy. So that's how one person can help influence the world.
Wow. Thank you, ShaRon. And before we move on to John, I just want to bring up something that always strikes me when you talk about no judgment, just love, which is nonviolent communication and the consciousness of non-judgment, because you embody that, and this is your whole life. And do you want to talk about that a bit and just say, you know, how nonviolent communication has been influential for you, that kind of thing?
Yes, and I'd like Karen to jump in and support me as well, because she's taking the course of nonviolent communication. So she probably has a little more of the words. I'm just learning that system that's already out there by your friend, whose name isn't coming to me right now.
Tom Bond.
Tom Bond, exactly. And so it's a consciousness knowing that there is emotion or reason behind everything we say and everything we do. And I think that, is it helpful or hurtful, really does inform what are you going to say? Are you going to use kind words? And Karen, I like the giraffe and the jackal, if you want to speak quickly about that.
Yeah, I love that, you know, that we all have needs and we all have feelings. And so, you know, the giraffe and the jackal are showing us just kind of different ways that we interpret, different ways that we interpret communication. So I'll let Rick share a little bit about that, because he is a practitioner also, and has been for many, many years, and has been such an inspiration to me. And Tom Bond, I really, really want to acknowledge the work that he has done and his incredible, you know, the compassion course. and the compassion book that he wrote, the handbook, the compassion handbook. It's just, it's a really, really wonderful, wonderful way for anybody who has any kinds of difficulty with their communication skills to learn. And I think if it starts in kindergarten, even in preschool, having that kind of navigation of their emotions, to be able to really, really express themselves creatively through music, through art, through whatever they want to express themselves as, I think it's going to change our world.
Definitely, definitely. And yes, Tom Bond is the founder of New York Center for Nonviolent Communication. And he,
What's the website for that?
yeah, it's nycnvc.org.
Okay.
nycnvc.org. And it's through Tom that I met Marshall Rosenberg, who created nonviolent communication. And Marshall Rosenberg was, he joined the We the World Advisory Board, in fact. So yeah, it's these animal representations, you know, the giraffe and the jackal. The jackal, so we can have jackal ears, you know, where we're judging people who are talking to us, but we can also turn the jackal ears on ourselves and judge ourselves. Or we can choose to have giraffe ears and hear whatever people say or do as the result of them meeting their needs and like the same needs that we all have. Or we can turn the giraffe ears on ourselves and not judge ourselves either, as ShaRon was saying.
Yes.
So we
So
had a great comment in the audience. I'd love to share. Robert Dosa, thank you so much for commenting. Please type into the chat if you have a comment or you want to be part of this. This is not a monologue. This is a dialogue. This is where we talk to each other in circle. We're going to turn this onto a circle in a minute, and you're going to see everybody here, and you're all welcome to share in the comments. But Robert Dosa says, before you speak, think. Is it truthful? Is it helpful? Is it inspiring? Is it necessary? And is it kind? I love acronyms because all acronyms always help us to, I have weight. What am I thinking? Is that going to be? And so that's a great thing for you to say to yourself, wait, what am I thinking? And then think, is it helpful? Is it kind? Think about that, think about those things. So thank you for sharing that, Robert. Really appreciate you being here. Such a wonderful, wonderful participant in all the things we do. Thank you.
So Karen, would you like to bring John in?
I would love to. Absolutely. It is my absolute honor to share with you John Synergized Raymer. He's an American entrepreneur, a civic leader, an inventor, and musician. He is the designer and co-founder of Compassion Games International, offering fun and creative ways to ignite and catalyze compassionate action in communities around the world. John and his beautiful wife, Summer, host the Synergized Impact Network Exchange, which is SINE.network, using social media to help create peace on earth by 2030. This you can, and I'm going to type in the chat and let him share a little bit about himself.
So much for having me. And thank you, ShaRon. It was beautiful to hear your wisdom. And I'm grateful to We the World for the effort it takes to bring us together and keep us mindful of the power of we. And ShaRon, when I heard you speak, we're getting better at self-regulating. It's good. And we're beginning to understand, I'm a musician, a little bit more about how we co-regulate. The space between us and how do we take care of that. Where we seem really incompetent is that next level, where we put institutions into place, whether they're corporations or organizations or governments. And how we operate at that level is my hope and wish, because the actions that we're learning how to take and how to stay mindful and stay thoughtful and kind, then how to create together are good. But the power that runs the world are all these incredible institutions we've created. And we're watching them collapse around us, and we can see our inadequacy at addressing some of the serious challenges, whether it's climate change or inequity, and just don't have the knowledge at that level. And so the games came about because we saw a union of cities. Cities are a powerful way. The mayors have a budget, which are moral documents where compassion could be institutionalized. But we saw that the power of getting people beyond just the awareness to actually take the action. And the games became this unifying way when the mayor of Louisville claimed that they were the most compassionate city in the world and would be so till proven otherwise. And I thought that was so fabulous. And they said they were so compassionate, they'd come out to Seattle to help us beat them. And we came up with we call it a co-opetition, and a simple way of measuring service. You know, how many volunteers, how many hours of service, how many people served, and then a place where people could share that and report on that. Now, I had a sobering impact, though, because the Compassion Game's been around. We've been, Rick Ulfik's genius of 11 Days of Global Unity. We've played the games for 12 years, but we met David Gershon on our journey to Ethiopia. And David ran around the world with the Peace Flame in 1986 and has empowered his organizations, the Empowerment Institute. And David said, kind acts are great, John, but it's just not going to do it. We need more than that. We really need behavior change at scale. And that's what birthed this idea of a number of teams forming a league, if you will, an alliance. And we've come up with this very simple game about caring and sharing about each other. It's making waves as we're making synergized impacts with each other. And you know what? I thought it might be helpful to share one image, okay? So all these organizations have been coming together, like We the World and Unity Earth and Four Worlds and Unify. I mean, we collectively have a reach over 20 million people. But we're coming to try to see how can we understand where are we, and is there a framework for thinking about this? So let me just show you this picture. I'm curious to get your reaction to this. We're trying to show two different things here. All of these ideas are at some stage in their development in terms of where are they in going to scale. Everything from a good idea, like the R&D that we did, the proof of concept of this sign network that's now collectively empowering. Okay, we're now ready to scale. Are you scaling, or you've reached that stage of sustainable scale? But this size here is talking about the scope of social change. And what impact are the things that we're doing having? Are we intended to get people to move to the positive? That's valid. We got to get people out of the suffering into the idea that they can and they have the agency to make a difference. Well, is the intervention we're doing changing our thinking? And a lot of podcasts about sustainability, we're doing a lot of stuff is being done just to get people to think differently. But if we change our thinking, does that lead to changing our speaking? Like the nonviolent communication you were talking about before. We're actually taking the time to learn how to communicate with each other. And is that change in speaking leading to changes in our actions to lead to behavior change? And this is kind of the sweet spot where we're looking to find behavior change at scale. And I just put this forward to try to bring some clarity to the topic about what are we really talking about when we talk about change? What is it that needs to change? And we have to change, I think, not only how we think about things, but actually the way we speak about things. And the change in speaking about things will lead to the way that we actually do things in the world. Awareness plus commitment that's followed through upon is what equals social change. And we really do need to learn how to change. And that's what I hope that the games has been one example of what's possible, and that this sign network is linking together social change initiatives to empower us collectively to do all of that, move to the positive, change our thinking, our speaking, and our acting in the world, and to take those things and scale them and give them the support and the strength they need to be able to be sustainable in the world and bring about a just and sustainable world for all of us.
That sounds fabulous, John. And if an organization wants to join the sign network, how does that work? Or an individual too, I guess, right?
Well, it's by invitation. So we meet with everybody to make sure there's really good fit there. And it's SINE which stands for Synergized Impact Network Exchange. But SIN, like sine waves. This is the idea. We're making waves.
Yeah.
And that's our vision. And we actually have this goal. So Sign.network of getting 100 million people engaged online on World Peace Weekend 2020. That'll launch a decade devoted to achieving the global goals, reinventing the planet, and creating peace on Earth by 2030. And we're going to be launching a social change game, a 10-year game to achieve that goal, that big, hairy, audacious goal. So this is the plan to synergize an unprecedented unified action level we've never had before and launch a decade devoted to the global goals and peace on Earth by 2030.
Yeah, so collective, yeah, so it's sign.network.
Yep.
Yes, and I posted that in the chat too, so anybody can just click on that link and they can go directly there to learn all about Sign Network. And we really encourage you to check it out because everyone's pretty much welcome. Everyone is really, really going to see incredible impact in their message. If they have a message that they want to get out, they want to amplify it. It's all about cross promotion. It's all about realizing that we can do so much more together than we can do on our own. It's just like what we're answering this question, you know, over and over again, we ask, what can we do together that we cannot do on our own? And the more you ask that question, the more you realize we're all in this together. You're never going to be alone.
Just the last thing I want to say, Karen, to
Yeah.
you as well, and to you, Rick, and ShaRon, we're learning about each other and getting to know each other. But you guys are so exemplary. You know, Sue, for years, you've been looking, how do I weave all these good things together? You know, and you, Karen, with your dedication and your devotion to service is demonstrable every day. I mean, we're in these waves together. We have stream keepers that are supporting what we're doing, and you are a shining light. And I'm so grateful to you, Rick, for what We the World represents. We need to bring light to the things that are working in the world and strengthen those things. So with deep gratitude, thanks for letting me talk about the compassion games and Sign and learn from you and being together.
Exactly. So with that, let's bring in our last guest. And we're excited to welcome Sue Blythe. Sue Blythe is a peace educator, founder of the Future Flash Project and the Florida Earth Charter Initiative. For more than 30 years, she has been talking with others who are making the change they want to see in the world. She is now facilitating the movement of movements to ensure a livable Earth for her 8 grandchildren and eventually their grandchildren as well. And she is working with We the World, so you can get more information at we.net and connect with Sue. Welcome to the Welcome to We show, Sue. And I must say, by the way, let's give credit where it's due. Sue created and developed the concept of the Welcome to We show. And now she's a guest on her own show. So welcome, Sue Blythe.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Rick. And I want to just mention that the idea for the Welcome to We show is that it's part of a game show that I think we will be growing into with the compassion games and other games that are out there that are helping people to come together in wonderful ways. And I want to share just a little bit about my background because it was 1983 and I became aware of this whole peace movement in the world, and started because my 3 children were very small at the time. I started just singing songs, teaching peace through children's songs. And so I went from place to place, worked in school, just played. We played in schools, did a lot of volunteer work, and eventually met someone who turned into my most wonderful mentor, and that was Fran Schmidt, who was a co-founder of the Peace Education Foundation in Miami. And I mention that because the peacemaking skills for little kids that comes from that program said the steps to resolving conflicts, whether they're preschool children or anyone, is to identify the problem, talk about feelings and needs, brainstorm possible solutions, and carry that out and see how it works. And if you want to revise it, keep going, repeat as necessary. So it's really so simple. The lessons that we want to everyone to learn. And so what I've been doing for all these many long years is just finding people who are creating unity, that are helping to bring a little more peace into the world. And it's been quite a few years now that I expanded that to the planet, that we have done some violence to this planet, and now it's coming around to say, hey, human beings, we need to make some changes. And so working with people like all of you on this call and all of the people who are listening in, it's time that we learn to work together. And that's why I so appreciate each of you, that we are figuring out what it means to live in peace on this planet. And I believe we can do it by 2030 and have a real, the beginnings of a real and lasting peace. And I'm just so honored to be part of that process.
Thank you, Sue. And can you talk a little bit about some of the ways that you are involved with bringing people together for collective action, like the collaboratory that you're participating in and things like that?
Sure. What we're doing is putting together a program, really, with We the World, so that we can play some games and get people working with the Compassion Games and others to work together in their homes and schools, communities, and like I say, with the whole planet. And so the organizing document that I like to use is called the Earth Charter, and it was launched in the year 2000, and we're going to be celebrating the 20th anniversary next year, along with other anniversaries such as the Earth Day 50th anniversary. So we are trying to put together action plans for anybody who wants to play, so that they can have a role on the road to 2020 when we celebrate all these wonderful anniversaries. And I will be doing a little workshop on Tuesday, April 30th at 1 o'clock Eastern time. And I sent to the organizers here a link. If somebody can post that, then people can register right now. And if that doesn't work out, then we can get that out through our email and the newsletter.
Yeah, we can definitely put that in after the show. I have that link, and I'll put it into the chat so that we have it.
Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Good. And Sue, they're also asking, what is the best email for you? How do people get in touch with you?
Okay, it's Sue Blythe, SUEBLYTHE at wetheworld.org.
Okay.
Yeah. So why don't we open it up now for anyone who wants to speak about taking action on an individual level to collaborative level to collective level. And just to start, for me, since that is kind of part of the mission of We the World, I feel this is an urgent time to do this, because, and in fact, my goal now is to be able to create unprecedented cooperation and coordination between the grassroots organizations and movements around the planet. And it couldn't be more important now. And I in all my meetings and everything, I think we're all talking about this. We have a weekly meeting with the Unity Earth folks, and they are talking about this. All John and I are part of those calls. And then with the We Team calls of We the World, we're talking about this. And it seems to be coming to a head, focused on 2020, especially like the 50th anniversary of Earth Day is going to be in 2020, and the 75th anniversary of the formation of the United Nations. So there are all of these confluences leading up to 2020. And John, maybe you want to talk about the Peace Weekend and the holiday of the International Day of Peace, which comes as the culmination of the 11 Days of Global Unity in 2020 that we're all kind of getting focused on.
Right, right. Well, if you look at the calendar, you'll see that September 21st, this year is a Saturday in 2019. But in 2020, it jumps to Monday. So a number of us thought, why not have a World Peace Weekend, a 3-day weekend that is devoted to this kind of unprecedented unified action that launches then this next decade. So we had the privilege of visiting with His Holiness the Dalai Lama last year and had this conversation about that. And we're looking to have 24 hours of a global peace wave. Now, this is just what Sign is bringing to highlight all the great members and all the great solutions. But there's so many organizations that are resonating with this idea of using that weekend to bring light to the changes that are going to bring us to the behavior change at scale that we need. So our vision includes this launch of a decade, this 10-year game, social change game, Peace on Earth by 2030. It includes the UN Sustainable Development Goals, which are targeting by 2030. And you know, look what's happening in London in the last couple of days. This is really good news. These climate activists, the Extinction Rebellion, even though they've disrupted life in London and done amazing things, a lot of people realize, thank God for them, because they are the ones really saying, like Greta, got to give her credit.
Yeah.
You know, and have the way even she relates to the Asperger's she has. It's, you know what, everything's black and white to me, and and you're lying. She doesn't mind saying it, and we need to speak, you know, change our speaking as well as lead to that changing in our acting. So, you know, that weekend is a great opportunity for us to say, pull out all the stops to figure out what would that unified action look like. And we are in Sign actively pursuing some structures for how we create synergy at higher levels. And I'm sure you have ideas, and people out there may have ideas. We need to listen to each other, and we need to find what is that crack in the universe, you know, that's going to see us actually turn the ship around. It's the Chinese proverb that haunts me. It says, if we don't change our direction, we're likely to wind up where we're headed.
Exactly. You know, ShaRon, I just had an idea as we're all talking. In 2012, I don't know if you remember, it was like the end of the Mayan calendar.
Yes,
right?
I remember.
And I think it was like December 21st or 22nd, and they were calling that Judgment Day. And so I had a conversation with Tom Bond, and we were sitting in his house in upstate New York. And I said, how about if we do something called Non-Judgment Day? So it just occurred to me, maybe we could do that for what John is talking about, that incredible weekend, peace weekend, and make that a non-judgment weekend.
Along with you.
Peace.
Yes. Yes, 1,000 times yes.
Wouldn't that be incredible?
Yes, Rick, good job. So I love that.
Look at, we have International Peace Day now has become Peace Month. International Earth Day has become Earth Month. And we can do that with no judgment also.
Absolutely, and it's so natural that we all want to expand these beautiful things. Peace Weekend, Non-Judgment Weekend, Compassion Weekend, Kindness Year, the Golden Rule all the time, right?
Every day. Golden Rule Day every day.
And I just want to comment at the gratitude that I have that each one of us here on this call and all of the wonderful people that I've met through each one of you and on my own, we are, to me, like a beautiful, large relay race. Each one of us has our specialty and we hand the baton off. We do what we're called to do so that each one of us is hitting a certain spot of the heart that everyone needs in order to achieve this world peace in 2030. And I'm just grateful to be on the track in the race.
What you're doing with global kindness, and even, you know, it's kind of like, I was thinking of a lot of the work that you're doing, Karen, is kind of like ShaRon, in the sense of you're taking action with people in an individual level. You know, I mean, you're part of the sine wave too, so you're working on all these levels. But I know your heart is with the kids in your coloring book with the kids, and global kindness in your community and all that. You want to talk about some of that work?
I'm just really excited, honestly, that global kindness has been so embraced by hundreds of thousands of people now, and that more and more people want to see global kindness going viral. I'm the face of global kindness going viral that you see, but there are going to be billions of people who are going to help that to actually be achieved. And I know that every one of us is part of this incredible puzzle. I don't think there's anybody that I've ever met that didn't have an incredible gift. I think one of my gifts that I have is I see the magnificence in everyone. And I really get excited about it. And even if they can't see it in themselves, I can help them to see it, and especially in the children. You know, the work that we're doing, John has been such an inspiration, and Summer, and you, Rick, and ShaRon, and Sue. We're going to have a year-long program of compassion, kindness, and peace education starting 2019 to 2020, starting in September. I have a meeting tomorrow with the mayor and the city council, and they are so on board with this. And so it's really exciting that our little town, Solvang, is going to be the first compassionate and world kindness city. So we're combining what World Kindness USA is doing with the Compassion Games, with the Charter for Compassion, and we're bringing it all together into a container with We the World, with the 7 days of rest and reflection, with No Judgment, Just Love, with all of these beautiful, beautiful, you know, there's sound bites to everything that we're doing in this world. And each one of us has an important, very important voice that needs to be shared. And what I feel more than anything is that what I've been able to do with social media is help people to really see their own value and to realize that, wow, I really can make a difference. And I think that every person that we are reaching out to right now, go check out we.net, go check out the compassiongames.org, check us out at sign.network, you know, email Sue and get involved in the game, play the game. Oh my God, go to nojudgmentjustlove.com and take the pledge. You can take the pledge, go to we.net and sign the Declaration of Interdependence. It's just incredible. My next coloring book is going to feature all of you. I have the No Judgment, Just Love pledge. I have the Golden Rule pledge. We have the Declaration of Interdependence. We have the Declaration of Oneness. We have the Charter for Compassion. We have the Compassion Games with Andy Smallman. It's all in one coloring book. It's going to be really, really exciting. And so, yeah, I think one person does make a difference. You who are watching this right now, you attracted this message, and you know that you're hearing it because you're ready to join us. So jump on board. It's a pretty fun game.
That sounds great. And Sue, any last word before we finish up our show?
Oh, I'm just so grateful that you guys are all here and we are learning to work together. I think the road to 2020 is going to be magnificent.
Exactly. And as I always like to say, Jonathan Granoff, who helped to launch the We campaign and We.net at a launch event, the last thing he said is, I hope we expand so much that there is no longer any them.
Yes.
We are together.
Exactly.
We are
We
one.
got this.
Exactly. So we hope that you will join the We team by going to We.net. You can sign up there as an individual or an organization, the calendar, a link to all of our friends and collaborators like the Compassion Games, and on and on.
I'm going to type that in here. The Global Unity Calendar is a wonderful place for everyone to share their events that are going on when you become a partner for We the World. There is no charge to be a partner. Everyone's welcome. And we're really excited to see all the people who are coming in to be part of the this beautiful, beautiful collaboration, because, you know, it's going to take all of us to change the way that these systems are. And one of my favorite things that I feel really, really honored that Barbara Marx Hubbard has left her physical body, but her energy has exploded into all of us in a way that she's not limited to her human self right now. So let's ask the question, what is working? And what else is possible? Those two questions will really, really lead us into this peace on earth by 2030. So keep asking that question. Don't focus on what's not working. We don't need we don't need any more complaining about what's not working. We need to focus on being solutionaries, as beautiful Heidi Little always says, be a solutionary, don't be part of the problem. We're all in this together. And if we could just realize that and not believe in the separation any longer, we could really, really have a different world. And I'm excited because the love that we have, the five of us sitting here right now, and all the people who are watching this and who are going to watch this on the replay, we're actually creating unity consciousness online. And now we're taking it to the streets and we're taking it on land. Every little city is welcome to learn how to do this. Sue has an incredible plan. Like it's a basic, very step-by-step. Any city can do what I'm doing here in Solvang, what ShaRon's going to be doing in Arizona, what Heidi's doing in Texas, what John's doing in Washington, what Rick is doing in New York. So this is what's so exciting, is each one of us is taking this unity consciousness from our heart to our family, to our neighbors, to our community, and out into the world.
As Heidi would say, here we grow.
Here we grow. ShaRon, tell us that one beautiful statement that you shared with us as we closed the last time you were our amazing guest.
Oh my gosh, what was that statement, Karen? Help me.
The beautiful, beautiful comment of having unconditional allowance.
Yes, thank you. I
What
thought
a
that's
world if we
really
could
good.
have unconditional allowance.
Yes, we talk about unconditional love a lot, and that is appropriate and totally wonderful. However, we all have a different definition of what love is. And as I was on a different call that was about trauma, some people have not really yet experienced love. And so I'd like to offer unconditional allowance, which is to allow everyone to be exactly where they are and give them the opportunity to, as Heidi said, here we grow.
Beautiful.
Thank you, Karen.
Yes, beautiful. And Sue, would you like to say something in closing, sweetheart? How do you feel about seeing your show coming into this beautiful reality?
Well, one of the things that I put into the Sustainable World Games is the idea that we are growing seed ideas from vision to reality. And oh my goodness, is it wonderful to be part of this reality here and now. Because
Yes.
it was a little idea way back when, and look at us now. Here we are.
And John, how about for you? You're actually witnessing the Sign Network. It started off with just a few little people starting to talk about maybe, hey, this could be kind of cool if we did this. And now, a year later, we're here. And it's actually, we reached over 1 million people in 24 hours for Golden Rule Day. So like, we actually know that we are on the track to experience this. So how does that feel in your heart?
Well, it's very encouraging. I mean, we are playing together. So just to be clear to anybody listening, a number of Sign members had agreed in advance that when we went live on this particular show, we would make that a wave. And other Sign members have agreed to share this on their page. So we have used trusted sharing to be able to make it so that we have this syndicated network where we can do that kind of thing. And people jump in with us. It's actually a sport. It's like a new kind of game, making waves. You know, I think it was Lao Tzu who said that in the end, everyone will know that everyone did it. And it's going to take all of us. Another thing that Jonathan Granoff said that I love, and he asked me a question. He said, "What's the most important instrument in the orchestra?" And I didn't know the answer. And he told me it's the tuning fork. And I think he's absolutely right. I mean, this attuning, you know, this consciousness, this awareness, this sensitivity, this way of relating to each other, taking the wisdom that we're sharing and putting it into action so that it does change our thinking, so it does change our speaking, it does change our behavior. I know all of us are being challenged this way. You know, what can I do? How can I do things better? You never kind of get there. It's kind of like if you set out to go west around the world, you can go all the way around the world and still more west to go. I think this journey in this, for our generation, is going to be one of challenging ourselves to really bring behavior change to scale and find the creative ways to find those solutions that really do. Check one out, like one of our Sign members, Cool Block. It's in 5 cities in California, where house by house, they're convening, getting to know each other, and doing so starting to look at how to impact their carbon footprint. It's a gamified approach, but it's really powerful. It's a good example, coolblock.org. And if you watch just a short video there, you'll be inspired because it's, you know, so many people with all this social media, yet they feel isolated and disconnected from their own neighbors. So this is an example of how a social change innovation can get people reconnected, dealing with the core issues, water, resiliency, disaster recovery, that kind of stuff, but climate change. And just one more example of the kind of challenge and opportunity we have in front of us. So thanks again for having me. And thanks again to everyone for all the good work you're doing. Game on.
And thank you, Sue, for having this vision to have this beautiful, when we have the welcome to we action steps. I love this idea because people who are watching will be able to get involved. And that's what it's all about. Those 3 I's, right, Rick? What are those 3 I's that make a we?
Inspire, inform, and involve. 3
Bye,
I's that
everybody.
make a we.
We love you. We love you all. Thank you so much. Keep shining. Remember, love and light will lead us home. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.